Shibusawa.
Say that again, please.
No. That first take is all you get, Brian.
All right. So welcome to SneetCast.
Woo!
All right. Way less of an interesting intro than last time.
Dick twist.
Nothing will ever get better than Dick Twist.
I mean,
not much is getting twisted this week.
Few people will understand what dump truck Shibusawa is anyway.
But those that do?
All right.
But in here,
But in here.
So, should we start off by talking about what we've been up to for the past week or so? It's not.
Might want to introduce ourselves again. I mean, I don't know.
All right.
Well, I was thinking of doing a different format where we just bring up a discussion topic, and then we just go with it the whole time.
you hear that, viewer? It doesn't matter whether you know who's speaking or not.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we should introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
shouldn't we?
no shit.
Yeah.
Brian, the professional podcaster, says no, it doesn't matter.
I'm Brian, by the way. I'm Brian.
Yes, he is.
He's Brian with a B. I'm Ryan with an R. The R stands for radical.
Welcome,
Rad.
welcome to our morning radio show. I'm
Parker.
Chef.
Oh,
No,
no,
me first.
Okay,
It's a
go ahead.
fucking circle, Parker. Wait
It's
your
a
turn.
circle.
You get to go last this time.
I'm Chef. That's me. This voice.
What is it? Is it with a C? His with a B. Ryan's with an R.
Chef doesn't rhyme with Ryan or Brian, Parker.
Well, I'm Parker with a P. The P stands for
Penis.
Shut the fuck up, Brian.
All right. All right.
Okay,
Are you
so-
trying to pawn your laugh off on Brian?
What do you mean?
What was that? Was that Penis Parker or you laughing and then switching it off on him?
What?
I'm lost.
I don't know what you're talking about. I
You're
was just
Penis
Googling-
Parker. Like Peter Parker. You're Penis Parker.
They say that in the Spider-Man movie.
They call him Penis
Homecoming?
Parker? Really?
Yeah, the boss.
Oh,
the
Homecoming?
boss.
You're
is
talking
like,
about-
boss. The bully is like
boss?
the bully's like Penis Parker, and then the whole party
In
starts
Spider-Man Homecoming, yeah, Flash Thompson does it because Flash Thompson is the bully in this universe.
So anyway, what did you wanna? Did you have a topic for us, Brian, or did you want to
I don't know.
throw one of us under the bus?
You mentioned Flash Thompson. It reminded me of the only Spider-Man comic I'd read when I was younger, where, like, I think it's the Green Goblin's goons, like, capture him and then drug him and then put him in a car, and then he crashes the car and, like, goes to the hospital. And
Oh
it
my
was really
God.
fucked up as a kid. That was, like, the only Spider-Man comic I'd ever seen for a while.
Well, I haven't read that one. Well, you know, Flash Thompson's a cool character in the comic because he starts off as like the bully, but then eventually Peter Parker does grow up and like goes to college, and then he has to like live on his own and all that. Flash Thompson also grows up. He goes to like the military, and after going to the military, he loses his legs, so he's just in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Isn't this guy Venom?
Then I was getting to that.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, but the
Fucking
military,
spoilers, dude.
the military found out how to like get the symbiote and like control it, so no one's like taken over by Venom. So he doesn't become Venom; he becomes Agent Venom, and he can only be in the symbiote for a certain amount of time to do military missions, and then like quickly like do the mission and then get out, so it doesn't like control him again. And there are times where like the mission will go badly, and he has no way of getting back to his base. And now he's under a time limit to like make sure this thing doesn't take over his body. Or there are times where he's going back to his base, and all of a sudden he just sees a picture of Spider-Man, and then the symbiote is just like, Spider-Man! And then Flash
Rages.
Thompson's like, no, stop.
That's a cool concept. Are his legs made out of symbiote or?
Yeah.
I was
That-
starting to laugh because
yeah.
I was thinking of, like, the symbiote just doesn't give him legs. Like, I'm imagining just, you're the super symbiote, but you're still
imagine
in
a
wheelchair.
legless
Swinging
Venom, just
Yeah.
gigantic, beefy arms, and he's like Geodude, and he...
Like that thumbs thing from Cosmic Encounters.
I thought you were going to say
No,
the thumbs
Spy
thing
Kids.
from Spy Kids.
No.
Oh
You
God.
remember what I'm talking about? That?
No.
We were like, imagine this thing running at you. Fucking-
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I
But
remember. Play Cosmic
so
Encounter,
is that-
listener.
Yes.
Ryan, is that the only like comic at all you read when you were younger, or just only Spider-Man?
I didn't read like any comics when I was younger. I had like those like Encyclopedia of Marvel characters books and everything.
What,
I
Oh,
never
I
like
like
read.
What about
comics.
any like manga or anything like that? Like,
Oh my god.
What
Joey bought me the first volume of Death Note in middle school, and that was the only
yeah.
kind of like comic or manga I really had. I mean, I had like, I shouldn't say it's the only one, because I had like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book or something somewhere, and some shit like that, but no like full runs. And I had one Star Wars comic, like midway through a run that I just had one volume of.
I think my first experience with any kind of comics or manga or anything like that was, so I was huge into Pokemon as a wee lad, and
weeb.
yeah wee yes
That was so easy to make you laugh.
and so yeah, I was really into Pokemon, so I just get whatever Pokemon stuff. And so right now I'm a huge fan of the Pokemon Adventures manga, but that is not what I had. Because there were a bunch of Pokemon manga when it was like just first generation, and then that was the one that took off and is still being made now. What I had was something called the Electric Tale of Pikachu, and it was really weird because I had the American print of it, which like printed them like comic book issues, not in like manga volumes, and flipped all the panels so you read them left to right. And then I also didn't understand what it was, because I was like, it's in black and white, so I'm supposed to color it in, right? Like, I was that young. I like colored in.
Oh no, I see where you're going with this. Oh no.
Where else would I go? Wait, that was the end of that. Wait,
Oh,
where
that you colored in the manga.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought you said like you like completely like ruined it, because I know
did.
like when people are like really really young, you'll like just draw over like the words. And
No. I mean, you could read it, but it was still like
Yeah.
fifth grade marker.
colored
Not
Pikachu
fifth grade,
blue.
5-year-old marker drawing. But now, what's even weirder is I've gone back to that manga, and I think it's really weird that I owned that as a kid, because there's a fun fact about Electric Tail Pikachu. The artist who drew it, the only thing he had ever drawn before that is hentai. That's it. And if you go back, you can tell the American version heavily edited.
Isn't that the one where they had to like censor Misty?
A bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one where she's wearing, now like my version was the edited American version, so I wouldn't have seen this anyway. But in the during her gym battle, she's got this like wetsuit on, and in the Japanese version, she's got like an X over her titties, and that's it. Like, it's just nothing. And I was just, when I learned about this when I was older, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I go back. That manga also has, I think I had a bunch of issues. I don't think I had the whole thing. It wasn't very long, but I definitely had the end. And the end was, even as a child, I remember thinking weird, because when they like are showing like what happens after the end, they just were like, yeah, James and Jesse have like a kid, and I'm like, huh?
Oh.
And it's literally just a
so
panel
they are
of
love
like
interests.
Jesse like preggers, and I'm like,
So I guess everyone's headcanon of Jesse being, or wait, no, James. I'm sorry, James being gay is
that
just
ain't
not true.
headcanon, dude. He's gay. The voice actor said he's gay.
Okay.
You know the line? There's
The
a line.
Japanese voice actor?
No.
Oh.
The American voice actor that doesn't voice him anymore is
Then
like,
it doesn't
he's gay.
count.
But he voiced the line, and quote, "I'm a flaming Moltres."
I'm a
Hell,
flaming
that's a
Moltres.
good line.
He
That's
says
a
it's his favorite
good-ass
line forever voicing him. But Chef and Brian, do you remember your first like interactions with comics or manga or anything like that before?
The Sonic the Hedgehog comic.
It's very on brand.
I
for
remember
you,
I
man.
really wanted to read the Sonic comics because I was obsessed with Sonic as a kid, but there was no like comic book store around where I was, so I had to order them online. But this is way before like Amazon or whatever. Like, I didn't know where to buy them, and I also didn't know how comics worked. I was like, "Where's issue 1?" That's not how it works. And like, I guess I'm just gonna get issue number 140 something. So
Oh, you mean like you thought all 140 issues would be on the store shelf that day?
No, but I just not that, because I knew it was like magazine like, but I was trying to find online issue number 1, thinking like, oh, they would still reprint it, but no, that's not how it works. But I remember I got 2 very random issues. One had Shadow on the cover, so I bought it because it's Shadow. The other one was really cool, but it was definitely part of a 4-part story, and I bought part 3 of this 4-part story. It is the most random part going. I remember it being called like The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown, and it was literally like a fight between Sonic, Shadow, and Metal Sonic, and I don't even remember why. What I do remember though is I found out that Sonic's dad became roboticized by the Eggman, but like apparently turned good, but he's just stuck as a robot forever. So I think like half of Sonic's motivation is like trying to stop Eggman just because Sonic's a good guy, and half of it is like revenge for turning his dad into a robot.
Wow.
Wow.
God
Dang.
What about you, Chef?
With like
Is it
American comics, my earliest experience is like those free ones. Well, not free, but they came in
Five
like,
finger discount?
What?
Your mom's not looking and you're just stealing shit off the store shelves?
No, that only happened once with M&Ms, and we got yelled at because she found out anyway. But
I was fixing my mic. Hold on. Okay, you're good.
okay, what do you mean? Like I wasn't, I wasn't
Sorry.
good that whole time?
No, I'm sorry. People probably heard it. That's what I said. Keep going.
Wow.
Don't dwell on it.
Anyway, in like cereal boxes, sometimes they
Oh.
would have like very short comics. That's the first.
Yeah.
That's probably my first two, but I didn't think of that.
Yo,
honestly.
Oh, I also had a Pokemon manga when I was younger. I don't remember if it was before or after the Sonic comics.
what would you know which one it was?
It was definitely Diamond and Pearl.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Diamond and Pearl
And
Adventure.
I remember Team Galactic having this running gag where their butts were huge.
Yeah.
And I remember loving it so much because Lucario's my favorite Pokemon. And literally, I think the guy's starter Pokemon
It was a Riolu.
was just a Riolu. And it wasn't like one of the starters from the games.
I
I
read
thought that was like the raddest shit ever.
I read the whole manga when I was in middle school. Yeah,
I think it
one
was
of
the
the
second
Team Galactic
volume.
members.
Like I literally bought it just because it was Pokemon and Riolu was on the cover.
What happens is pretty early on he gets captured by like
Button enlargers.
no captured by like
Good
two,
one.
two
Team
Team Galactic
Galactic.
Team Galactic grunts,
That's a good one.
and something happens. I think he like bites the grunt's ass or something, or like
That happens at
Pokemon-
some point. I know that for a fact.
yeah, whatever, and it like hurts him and it makes it like get swollen,
Yeah.
and it's a joke. And then they thought it'd be funny if it was just permanently swollen, so that one Team Galactic member had this giant jiggly ass, and then
I'm imagining Carl from that one episode of fucking Jimmy
where
Neutron
he gives
with the Team
birth out of his
Galactic.
ass.
Yeah, with the Team Galactic uniform on.
Wait, Carl from what?
Jimmy
It's one
Neutron.
episode where he gets
Oh,
like
Jimmy Neutron. Oh, ew. That episode's
The
gross.
clip
It
where
is
he-
gross,
The
yeah.
clip where
Episode.
Carl turns around and he's like, "Stop staring at my cans." But yeah. So the Team Galactic member has like this big ass that like,
You got him. Chef is gone.
and they would like, there would be little like wobble marks and sound effects or whatever. The best part about that though is that the fans gave him like a non-canon name because you know the Team Galactic members are like Mars and Venus. So they're like, his name is Uranus.
Boy.
Of course. It's pretty
But
good.
my first experience with manga is getting, just like, suddenly getting copies of Shonen Jump and just starting to read whatever's in there. So I jumped into One Piece right around, like, something you shouldn't read when you're first being introduced to
It was-
One
it
Piece,
was
I guess.
Marineford, right?
Yeah.
It's like Chef
Big spoiler
spoiled
in
himself
Marineford.
on like one of the best arcs like 10 years before he read One Piece.
10 years before I was, like, actually interested.
But you still got to it and went, "Oh, I know everything that happens."
Yep.
That's so weird because we know two other people who did that exact same thing, and I don't know if it's just the age. Like we all got Shonen Jump. Well, I didn't, but all three of these people got Shonen Jump
Yeah.
around the same time. Very strange.
Like hell of a couple chapters to end up reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that time, yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned cereal boxes with the comics. Have you guys ever gotten like weird
It's not like you said syrup boxes.
cereal boxes?
Please,
Syrup comes
please
in-
tell me you're about to ask if we ever gotten weird cereals.
No, I was gonna say items in the cereal, like because he said he got comic out of a cereal
Oh.
box.
I remember, you know what? In relation to that, I found out like when Spider-Man 3 was coming out, I was kind of excited for it, and I never got to see it in theaters. Well, I mean that's whatever. But I remember finding out that Harry is like the new Goblin because of a toy from a cereal box, where it was it was just Harry Osborn. And it was just a super soaker. You just put water in him, and you got to squeeze it, and I don't know, water comes out of his chin. I don't know.
Whoa. I think something similar happened to me, or maybe a McDonald's toy or something.
Like
But-
I always knew Venom and Sandman were in it, but like Harry being New Goblin, I like completely had no idea until that toy.
One weird cereal box thing I got when I was little. I don't know if I actually got it out of the cereal box or if I just obtained these later at like a yard sale and found out they were cereal box things. But there were these. It had to be like, the year 2000 or earlier. They did these things where these Pokemon like computer games, like discs, came in them, and the only reason I remember it because I think the games were like nothing. They were just like shitty shovelware or whatever, but. The discs were some of the weirdest discs I've ever seen because they're about the size of a GameCube disc.
I have an experience with these as well.
But
I think
about
I
the
had
size of
those
a
too.
GameCube disc, though they still go in your computer. And the sides were just cut so it was round on two sides and straight on the other two. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, am I gonna break the computer if I put this in there? Like, because I was like, that don't go. That don't do that. No, do.
That don't go.
I remember
They go
getting
down.
I remember getting a disc like that, and my like disc tray in my computer had like an inner part cut out that fit in, and I was like, what the fuck is
Mine
this?
might have too.
Because I was like, I guess this is made for this because there's this part cut out, but this is really weird.
I had a couple discs that were like that, where there were small GameCube like discs, and I was scared to put them in the computer because they didn't like fit in completely like right away. Like I kind of had to force it, so I immediately thought like, oh my god, I don't think this is supposed to go in the computer. I was really scared.
And then
So
you
I thought-
forced it into your GameCube.
Well, I didn't have a game. I went to a friend's house that had a GameCube, and then I tested it, and it didn't work. And then finally, I literally decided, like, you know what? This has been just a nothing disc for so long. I don't even know if I want to play it. I'm just actually gonna jam into the computer and see if it works. And apparently it did. So I got to play extremely goofy skateboarding for a while, which is like actually like one of like the most underrated skateboarding games in my opinion. You get to play as Max or Goofy, and Max is like flat out, he does moves that you'd get in like the Tony Hawk games, like actual skateboarding moves. Goofy does like completely weird, outlandish versions of those same tricks because Goofy doesn't know how to skateboard. And it was actually like, I actually like looking back, I respect the developers for putting so much effort into the animations of like Goofy like not knowing how to skateboard. Also, that really cool trick Max does in the Extremely Goofy movie where he's like balancing the skateboard on the ramp and then he has his hand on it and his feet are in the air or whatever. I remember you could do that in the game. I thought it was cool. I don't know what
I
it's
think
called.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called either, but I know.
I
what you're
remember it
talking
was
about.
impressive, and as a kid I was like, I want to skateboard so I can do that. And of course I never learned to skateboard. Like, why would I? Anyway, Extremely Goofy skateboarding, look it up. It's really underrated. You can only find it. I don't even think that was cereal. I think I got it from like Dinosaur Chicken Nuggets. So anyway,
Is skateboarding cool anymore? It's
in,
like a cool
in
thing.
Los Angeles it is.
In Philly.
Okay. All right. I guess those are two big
Also,
places.
yeah, in
but,
Philly
like,
there's skate parks. There's no skate parks around us, so we
Well, yeah.
don't see anyone doing it. But like,
I've seen like 2 people skateboard at my college.
like
once.
the culture is not as big as it was in the 90s when like Tony Hawk was like the biggest thing. But like, I know skateboarding in general is just like, it's everywhere actually. Because like even on college campuses, it's like a
You know
very
what, that's
neat way
true.
of like.
There-
I have watched
getting
multiple
around.
dudes eat shit on college campuses while they're skateboarding around. So
I've never
that's
seen
true.
people eat shit, but that's funny.
Yeah,
Because like no one like does tricks. They just do it to get to their next class, and that's it.
yeah.
There's a whole episode of the new show from the Creator Regular show, Close Enough, because that whole show is about
Literally why I brought this up.
yeah. The whole show. I guess I'll talk about that for a second because I watched all of that this week and it's really fucking good. Like it starts off pretty funny and gets hilarious, and the whole premise is very similar to a regular show in like the jokes and how the characters act, but the main characters are parents in like their early 30s, and so there are a lot of jokes of like, wow, we're old now, right? And so there's a whole joke about him trying to introduce his daughter to skateboarding, and he's like remembering the skateboarding culture and how he literally, they're standing outside of the store and he's about to walk in, and he remembers when he was little and all the like spray paint and the loud music or whatever. And then they walk in and there's like nothing on the walls, and there's like 4 skateboards behind a desk, and his daughter's like, "Why'd you bring me to the Apple store?"
Oh,
Like,
that's so funny.
yeah, that show is hilarious. The I am anxious to see more from it, because I think it's. I didn't watch. I watched a bit of regular show when it came out, and then didn't stick with it. Maybe I'll go back and watch it. But this is funny, and I think it's because he has the freedom to just kind of do whatever now. Like there's a lot of really funny sex jokes in the show, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's been fun.
You pissed me off.
Defining moment of a lot of people's childhoods right there. Going, whoa.
Mine was when I
You can say that on TV?
Mine was when I was watching, what, I watched Total Drama Island, right? And I could already kind of tell that it was like, this seems a little more inappropriate than the stuff I usually watch, but it's on Cartoon Network. And then,
Well, Total Drama Highland has the scene that every kid remembered where Heather gets her top taken off on that fucking bike thing.
yeah, and
Like,
I
shit
remember,
like that was all over it.
But then I found out, because the sequel show was coming out, and when it was coming out, I found out that it aired in Canada first. And so I could just watch episodes early online. And that's when I found out that the American version is censored. And they say things like freaking and crap. And I was like, oh my god.
Freaking. They said the F word.
Yeah, and the C word. Crap.
Small Parker hears that and goes, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah. yeah, that's about right. I don't know why. It's like you hear stuff like that on TV and you're like, oh, but then your parents hear it say it and you're like, yeah. like that's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the comic of like someone writing? It was a comic where like a mom got a call from like the principal saying like, your son said the F word. And she's like, what? And then after the phone call, she goes to the like little kid and just like squats down. She's like, just like, the fuck, dude. And that's the end of the comic.
Oh my god.
I only got in trouble once for cursing as a kid.
Oh really?
Like one time. That was it. Yeah, because like it was like the stupidest thing ever. It's like I literally just heard the word, like it was like hell or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it was like I just heard it and I didn't really get it, and then like I was waiting on like my mom to do something before I went to bed or something. I can't remember. But I was like waiting and I was like, what are you doing? And I thought, and I was like,
That's some
I have a new
spice.
word for this. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? And she's just her, like, it was like, she was like, what? Like, you won't get to play video games tonight anymore. And I was like, oh, I just want to use my new word.
I had a moment like that in elementary school where I didn't think hell was a bad word, because someone literally explained to me like, oh, hell's a place. And I'm like, that makes complete and total
It's in
sense.
Michigan,
Like,
I
heaven's not a bad word. So I remember one time I was in computer
yeah.
class, and this one like crossword puzzle computer game someone was playing. Like the kid raised his hand and he was like, "Teacher, this game has a bad word in it. It has HE double hockey sticks." And of course, it wasn't like actually a word you were supposed to like circle. He just found it
Yeah.
like
That's-
coincidentally.
That's funny.
And I don't know why I decided to butt in, but from across the
You
room,
were like, what the hell is HE double hockey stick?
but from across the room, I literally like, I don't know why, but I was like, that's actually not a bad word. That's actually a place. I wanted to defend the kid or something like that. And I remember after I said that, the teacher looked at me and she's like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, Ryan,
Steve.
And I'm like,
What's
and
your
I,
name,
like,
son?
I thought I was gonna get in trouble, which I legit was gonna get mad if I got in trouble, because I'm like, it's a place though. Like, it's not bad. Like, it's not the F word. Like, I even as a kid, and a little bit to this day, I still know like there's a tier list for curse words. Some curse words are worse than others.
Yeah.
Like the F word's worse than the S and B word, and then crap is like all the way like that's like
Crap,
D
you don't
tier.
even gotta say C word.
Yeah,
It's just crap.
It's just
Also,
crap.
because
Crap
the
is-
crap isn't a
actual
problem.
C word is way worse.
Depending on where you are. in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
The tier list changes depending on your area.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
Yeah. Like Australians, they don't give a shit about.
Also, it depends on like context because some are like,
I'm like
Dude,
scared to
dude.
say some of these words now.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm like, are we allowed to say?
yeah, be
some-
careful. I wouldn't. But
But,
like,
like, we're talking-
slurs.
But the thing
like,
is, we're
But-
talking
but,
about the
um,
words themselves, so it shouldn't actually be a problem. It's just that now that we're saying.
the
that's-
C word's a little close to a slur, actually.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a little.
but
But the thing is,
I
it's
was
not
just
a
saying,
slur in other countries. That's
Yeah,
why
that's the
I'm
other
Cool. That's
But,
the
yeah.
C word.
I was gonna say
Cucumber.
every day the word fuck becomes less and less extreme because
Yeah.
more people just say it and like
Especially here.
I've heard my 11-year-old sister say it. I'm sure.
I
think
almost said it in front of the entire school once.
Wait, did
What?
you? Wait, I don't
when
know.
you're
What's
giving
the
your graduation
context?
speech.
No.
I don't know this story. I actually want to hear it. Hold on. What happened?
So to promote the school musical,
I can't wait to
I-
hear
I-
it.
This
our
is in high school, right?
Yes, in high school, our musical coordinator decided to have me do like a mock interview of kids in the play. And so I'm going around to them and I'm like I am in performer mode, so I'm just like saying things. It doesn't occur to me that I'm standing in front of literally everyone in the school. And I'm talking to a kid who I guess I can't name,
Yeah, don't
but
name
we all know who he is.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I almost said, "What the fuck do you do here?" And like, it's going through my brain. It's about to leave my mouth, and I'm like, "Wait."
I imagine
No.
that one brain cell like holding it back.
Did you get to like what the?
You know, I don't remember because I was in performer mode. Brain shut off. Words come out of mouth.
Your brain hatched an idea into your mouth and you swallowed that shit.
Yes, I did.
Ew.
A
That's a
raw,
funny story.
raw yolky idea
Yeah.
slides down your gullet.
That one was rotten.
So okay, with the cursing thing, when I was little, I understood curse words very early, I think, but my dictionary of them was not very big, and I think that was the issue. Because I remember as a very little kid, like, because I moved around a couple houses before I was in the one that I like actually grew up in, and this is one of the older ones, so it was like before kindergarten. I remember I knew at least the words hell and ass, and I don't know why I thought this was funny, and my mom, she like thought it was funny, but also didn't want to like. She was like, "No, stop!" and like holding back like laughter or whatever. I was like, "Well, if I cover my mouth and whisper it, then it doesn't count." And so I would walk around the house going, "Ass," and my mom would be like, "Stop! You can't say that," because she would hear me, and I'd be like, but then, you know, I got older and I stopped doing that. But there were still a lot of curse words I didn't know, and I distinctly remember walking into my parents' bedroom. They're watching TV. I hear something on the TV, and I think I turned to them. I said, "What's dick?" And my mom was like, "Don't say that."
I remember asking my sister what the certain image was on like a cell phone my dad had. And I still to this day I don't know what this image looked like. Like the phone stopped working and there was just a permanent black little like Rorschach test looking thing on it. Like it literally looked like a glitch. Like I don't think it meant to be anything.
Okay.
But I saw it and I went to my sister and I was like, what's this supposed to mean? What does this mean? And I don't know why she said this, but she's like, oh, Brian, you can't like say that. Like show mom and dad that because they had to take that away because I think that means dick. And I'm like, what? And still to this day, looking back, I'm like, that is the weirdest interaction I think I've ever had with my sister as a little child because she was absolutely not correct. And still to this day, I don't know what that image was. But I
Brian,
definitely think I learned what dick was because of her for this thing that has nothing to do with dicks.
But Brian, I think that means dick.
I think so. I had another moment. I remember at a young age, I knew the word, but what I guess what happened was my cousins were really into Green Day, and so they would play a lot of Green Day. When I was just whatever, and I was probably like kindergarten, whatever, and they're blasting, I think it was Minority by Green Day, and there's some kind of line in there where he says something blah blah blah, fuck 'em all.
Yeah.
And so I do this all the time where I can hear the lyrics but I don't really make out the words, and I still do this. And so I will like sing what I think I hear or something that sounds close, and it's usually gibberish. So I didn't realize he was saying fuck 'em all, but I wanted to sing the line. So I just said something that sounded close enough that they thought I said fuck 'em all, because I, again, didn't know the line. And they, like, shut off the music, turned to me, and like, you can't say that. And I was like, what? I thought it said crocodile, like the evolved form of totodile. And I think I said that.
Crocodile. And your parents thought you were saying...
No, not my parents, my cousins, who were, like, around my age, except for the oldest one who was playing the Green Day music. And I was just like, what? It's a Pokemon, though.
Oh my god.
That's so funny.
I was a little shit, and I ratted my dad out once for cursing in the car.
Ooh.
It was like, he like said...
He definitely got some punishment, I bet.
He was like pissed at some guy. He had like a little road rage, and he was like, "You fucking idiot" or something. And I was like, "Ooh, you said that word." And I like went to my mom, and I was like, "Dad said,
Dad said the fuck word. Mom.
yeah."
Dad said the fuck word.
Mommy.
Jeff, you have any stories about learning about curse words as a kid?
No.
I feel like you learned them at a young age.
I feel
just
like
'cause of your
you've
mom.
always
I
been
feel like your
okay
mom
to
is very
say them.
open about whatever she wants to say.
That's true. It's like when my parents divorced, she stopped caring. She was like, say 'em.
Let's say them together. My mom...
I'll say 'em
I'll
at
say
you.
it with you.
See, it's weird, because my mom never cared. Like, my mom was always, like... I mean, I think as, like, a young age, she was like, yeah, no, don't say that. But when I got into, like, middle school, she wouldn't care if I did. But I still felt weird saying them in front of her. And it got to the point where she knew I would curse around my friends. Like, she would walk by and see, like, messages that I would send or whatever. Back when I used to use Facebook Messenger or whatever. But she wouldn't, like... and she would, like, joke around with me with it, but I would never say it in front of her because I was like, that's weird. And it's only like, the past couple years where I really went, like, oh, I think, like, the beginning of college, I was like, okay, I'm going to say, like, shit and ass in front of her, that's fine. And then it was only recently where I was like, oh, I can literally say anything in front of her and I don't care. And I don't know. For the longest time, I was just like, something's weird about this. Same thing with, like, college professors. You can curse in front of them. It doesn't matter. They're going to curse in front
Dude,
of you.
I remember, like, my first college English class, he literally wrote fuck on the chalkboard. And I don't even remember what the lesson was. I just remember he, like, wrote it out and then made us all, like, repeat after him saying fuck. And it had something to do with the lesson, and I don't remember to this day what it was.
Brian
you
accidentally
walked
went
into-
to fuck class.
Yeah, you went to
instead of
cursing
English.
class.
I don't know. It had something about, like, caring about what you're writing or something like that. But I don't remember why the word fuck had anything to do with it.
Just like this.
Give a fuck. Give a fuck.
It could have been
Yeah.
just that.
I think I remember you telling this story. I thought he, like, underlined it and would say, what the fuck? And it
Yo,
would make-
yeah. I remember telling a bunch of people about it because I'm like, yeah, college is a completely different environment, guys. Like,
I remember hearing
because high school, everyone like controls what you want to say. Like,
I remember hearing one teacher say and being like, don't say anything, tell anyone I repeat this. But I remember one high school teacher saying, like, life's a bitch, and being like, oh my god. And then I got to high school and I have professors who, like, just curse throughout their entire lessons. They're just like, I don't fucking care about it. And I'd be like, wow.
in high school?
No. I said the first thing was in high school, and then when I got to college...
Oh, I thought you said
No,
when you
you
got to high
said
school.
when I got to high school, I had professors, blah, 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 blah.
I thought so.
That's exactly what
I
you
thought
said.
so.
me
Ryan, did you not? Did you not hear that?
No.
You're
There's
wrong.
A weird beeping noise, by the way. Did you guys hear it?
The burn.
Stop.
Noises of
Calling
my
it out.
house because everyone didn't feel like being quiet, even though I asked them to.
It's okay.
Don't worry about it. Just no one's gonna listen to this anyway.
That's true. And
It's
if you
true.
are,
I'm gonna make my
go
parent-
away.
Yeah, if you are, why?
Yeah. I'm gonna
There are
make
much better
No,
things
no,
you
wait.
can
Go
do.
play,
If
like,
you
Yakuza
are listening
0.
to this, please give us money. Tell your
No,
friends.
Give money.
we don't deserve
This
money.
is
We
not.
don't have-
This is not a service. We should pay them.
I mean, I'll accept your money,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
like,
say,
I don't know
think
how you would give it to me.
the mail,
Yeah, give them your address.
an
My
envelope with
address
unmarked
is
bills.
let me quick get my GPS.
My
Give
address
us your
is-
address. We'll come and get it.
Parker's address.
My address is chef at kitchen. It says chef.
You know what? If someone actually is listening to this, all we ask is that you enjoy yourself and maybe tell other people
Yeah, yeah.
Go
about us.
pop open a beer.
Take your
Whip out-
pants off.
Yeah, whip out your cock or vagoo.
Your vacock.
Start rubbing.
We
Just
accept
enjoy
all
yourself.
kinds.
Whoa,
here.
whoa, whoa! No, no rubbing.
Hey,
Just
how
have
else
it
are they
out.
gonna enjoy themselves.
Just have it out.
We're gonna edge them.
All right.
Okay.
I was
gotta
gonna
move
say
on.
before that I was gonna make my parents watch this and be like, "Listen how loud you are," but never mind. I'm not. They're not watching this anymore. I'm gonna hide this from them.
My parents barely know this even exists, and I'm the one that bought like all the equipment and all that.
My mom, so Brian, when you had your college radio show,
Yeah.
and Brian let me guest star on appearance of his college radio show once to talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Don't you feel special? Huh?
Yes, but
The last movie we'll ever see in a theater.
yeah, it was the last.
I mean, it wasn't
No,
my
we
last
saw-
movie,
we
but
saw
I saw like 3 movies after
saw
Sonic.
the My Hero movie.
Was that after Sonic?
Yeah, it was March.
Yeah.
Pretty sure,
Oh, maybe.
but it was just me and you
What's the last? It's the last movie we saw in the
in
local
our home
theater,
movie theater
yeah.
before it closed permanently.
Fucking-
But anyway,
Anyway,
Brian,
yeah.
when my mom listened to me on your radio show, and she was like, "Oh, you're good at that. You should keep doing that." And I'm like, "Do I show like she can listen to this if she wants, but like."
My thing is like, even if I do tell my parents that, hey, I'm making a podcast, and me and my friends are gonna talk, and it's gonna be on like SoundCloud and Spotify
I'm
and
gonna
all
ask,
that.
"What's a podcast?"
I think my dad would, but I
That's the
think
first
my mom
question.
knows.
Then there's a matter of getting them onto Spotify or SoundCloud.
Yep. That's the other one. I don't think they know what a SoundCloud is. But
Brian,
another one is just like, even if it comes to the point where they're finally listening to it, they're gonna listen to like 2 minutes of it, and they're like, I don't care about what you guys are talking about.
Brian,
Your
you
parents are like, the SoundCloud? Do I need
Parker
a
talked
plane?
about One Piece for like 20 minutes the last episode, and I'm the whole time just gonna be like, what is he talking about? Why isn't he explaining?
why
what
is
he's
he
talking
wearing
about?
a
Brian-
one piece swimsuit?
And I'm like, it's anime, and they're like, what's anime? What is that? What is
Brian,
that?
they're
Why-
not gonna
Brian,
get
shut
that
the fuck
far.
up. What is that?
You're gonna tell your dad to listen, and he's gonna go, Brian, I don't care. Let's chop wood.
Brian,
No, he's gonna hear Dick Twist, and then he's gonna be like, Brian, I don't want you doing this anymore.
Then he's gonna hit you
Yeah.
with an
Brian.
axe.
Brian, what is a podcast? Why did my impression of Brian's dad turn into David Lynch?
Brian, let's chop wood.
Brian's dad, David Lynch.
Brian, we gotta chop wood. I'm just,
What is that? Is
just
that
picturing Jack, the monkey from the
Oh,
one
yeah?
short he was doing. I love that short so much. That's my second favorite David Lynch movie, just in general.
after what?
After Eraserhead.
Yeah, Eraserhead's my favorite.
Eraserhead's like almost everyone else's favorite, except if they watched Elephant Man, because I know Elephant Man was a big deal.
After we watched that movie was really gross, and after we watched it, we ate a bunch of shepherd's pie. And now when I eat shepherd's pie, I go like,
Why he got those worms?
yeah, why fetus have worms?
Why fetus have worms?
I don't know anything about that movie other than Eraserhead Baby.
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
you
it.
didn't watch it with us.
No, I wasn't there.
That's a good
Didn't you?
movie.
It was.
He
Yeah,
arrived.
I looked up.
showed
He arrived
for-
afterwards.
Yeah, I was there
afterwards
for
and
Blue
watched Blue
Velvet.
Velvet
Yeah.
with us, which is not as good.
No,
I didn't like it that
not like
much.
that.
I like Blue Velvet.
You're wrong.
It's not a bad movie.
I give it
Fine.
you have an
Call me
opinion,
wrong. I don't
but you
care.
know what? It's a wrong opinion, Brian.
I give it 3 stars out of 5.
I don't know. I thought it was a 4-star
like
movie. Out of 5, I mean.
2 out of 30.
You know what's funny?
Jesus.
For movies, the default rating is 4 stars as a max, and
That's
so many
stupid.
people don't
That's
know
stupid.
that. So there were like commercials like praising a new movie coming out, like and that people were like hyped up for, like I don't know, like Avengers Endgame, and they'll be like 4 stars, and a bunch of YouTube comments or Facebook comments or whatever the hell I saw this from, everyone was just like 4. You should have gotten 5 stars. That movie's amazing, and I'm just like, no, it got like the full amount.
Who
of
decides
stars.
the stars? What is this?
That was that.
Movie
It's just
gods?
been like, it's just been like a
Mr.
common
Criterion.
thing. Like someone
Mr.
popular.
Criterion.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone popular like Roger Ebert started it and everyone else just
He's
like
dead.
copied it.
Well, he rates them.
Did I
out of
not say
4 stars,
started
yeah.
it?
I know.
Why 4? I don't know. That feels like it's like okay. There's amazing movies, good ones, not
See,
good ones, and bad
The
ones.
5
Like I don't
the
know.
5-star thing got popular because of like
Hotels.
hotels and restaurants, I think. So it's
Yeah.
like everyone just assumed movies did the exact same thing. And
4
even
stars
then,
is like what they use for like the military, isn't it?
I
Isn't
don't
like
know.
the max general like 4 stars
I
or
have no
something?
idea. I don't know. I haven't played
don't
Call of Duty in a while.
Max
I know-
prestige
I
U.S.
know-
Army general is 4 stars.
I know
Imagine-
surprisingly little about the
Take your
military hierarchies and stuff like that. I know other things about the military, but not about how it actually functions as a unit.
You start as a private, and then you go to
Public.
really?
No, that is a computer science
Oh
joke.
wait, yeah.
That was supposed to be
It's
a
not
computer
even-
science
That's,
joke. I
hold on,
assumed
that's
it
not
was
even a
just
computer
a word
science
joke.
joke. Yeah, that's just wordplay.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
then
it
we're gonna
goes
get, then you
to-
get to static, and then
Yeah.
Shit, I don't remember. I don't care. I'm not going to the military.
You're not? I already packed your suitcase.
Thanks, Parker. What do I say to that?
Got your boots?
Got him.
Got
him.
you some what's those things called? EDMs? MREs?
EDMs.
a disc with one EDM on it.
Yeah. You can heat up your EDM by the fire
It's Skrillex. You like him?
with a side of mashed potatoes.
Going to the military base with a bag with a disc with scary monsters and nice sprites on it and some boots, and that's it. Like
I'm ready.
ready to serve.
Instead of a buzz cut that you grow your hair really long and they shave off one side.
Sir, yes, sir.
Oh my god.
Looking in the helicopter, like like burna, but instead it's like that shit. Yeah.
It's what's the Little Richard song that plays in Predator?
Oh,
Was it-
Long Tom Sally.
Yeah, it's gonna be that, but it's gonna be like a dubstep cover of that.
Well,
The
when I
EDM
think
remix.
of helicopters, like doesn't Full Metal Jacket have the Creedence Clearwater Revival song? Because that's what I think of when I see
I
that.
think
is that
multiple movies have had.
yeah,
it.
it's like it's
Yeah.
a not a stereotype, jeez, a cliche
yeah.
that
But that's like the number
Fortunate
one.
Son gets used
That's
for
like
stuff
the
like
number
that.
one song related to Vietnam. It's like that and "Gimme Shelter."
That's so weird. Isn't it
Why?
weird that like I don't know? I think it's weird that movies like songs become cliches in movies. Like, why did everyone have the same idea? Are they all just
Well,
copying the 1st
I'm
person?
saying "Fortunate Son" is like the number one song about Vietnam, just in general. I don't mean just Vietnam movies. I mean like everyone associated that
Okay.
song with Vietnam. Like the soldiers would actually play that song. Like,
Okay, that makes more sense. I'm thinking like, like there are songs that get used for montages for movies all the time, and you're like, why do you always choose
yeah.
this song? Of course, bringing it up, I cannot think of any examples.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky is
Yeah,
used in a
God.
ton of things, and freaking
I only know of like 2 things Mr. Blue Sky was in.
what was it?
Well, one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And now I'm blanking on the other
It's
one.
Eternal
Ooh,
Sunshine.
He's a liar.
Oh man, I've seen
Dude.
Eternal Sunshine only once, and I haven't.
You're
I don't even remember that.
I can't believe you didn't remember Dougal. It's in Dougal.
Yeah.
It's in a bunch. Literally, I keep getting recommended this video that's 4 minutes long, and it's like every movie scene that uses Mr. Blue Sky compiled together.
Yeah.
And it's like,
funny.
is it always the beginning of the film like Guardians, or is it like, because it's a good.
I imagine it usually is.
When did it happen in Dougal?
Okay, my Dougal encyclopedia is not as big as I make it out to be. I didn't even realize until the other day that Ian McKellen was in that movie. He's
I don't even know what the fuck Dougal is.
Let's watch Dougal.
Is he a
Yeah.
dog?
No.
Is Dougal a dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dougal's the dog character.
Hey,
in this
listener,
movie.
if you want us to watch Dougal
And record it.
and record it, we will.
Send
We'll
us
do that.
$5.
If we get, here, you know what?
Single listener.
I'll
If
say-
you
I'll say
and our
this right
second
now.
tier on the Patreon, will we live stream it then?
Oh no, I
You're
was
getting a
gonna
bit
say.
ahead of yourself.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
if we
The third tier is we take our shirts off.
no.
On our audio podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna
on the podcast, sure.
I was gonna say if this podcast took off and somebody listened, like went back and listened to this one and brought it up to us, I would say you can tell us that we promised to watch Dougal and we could make it some kind of we could do it. We could record our reaction video to Dougal.
A reaction video.
Hell, we
I
could
don't-
upload Dougal to YouTube. Who would care?
Dougal.
I think
not
Paramount
a
owns the rights.
Okay.
Paramount would care.
Yeah, but there's some movies that are shitty enough that like people don't
Put
care.
it on Vimeo.
Dude, the Digimon movie is just there. And like Digimon is like a notable well,
Do you remember
To you.
when
people remember it.
I remember when we watched The Room, because it was the whole thing was on YouTube, but the title of it on YouTube isn't The Room. It's like Lifetime Movies 2019 romantic comedy. The Room something
I found
4-star rating or whatever. It had this long-winded title where like half of it wasn't even true.
I found Ringu, Ring, the like the original Japanese horror movie on YouTube like a year or two ago.
Oh, I
watched
found a really good like HD quality version of this movie Dead Alive, which is basically Peter Jackson does Evil Dead 2. And I've been meaning to watch it for so long. It has two names. I think it's like one is like Dead Alive, which I think is like the North American version, and the European version is called like Brain Dead or something. But I remember like always getting
I may
confused,
have
thinking
heard
there
of
were
this.
two different movies, and then finally realizing like, oh, it's just a territory thing. But I've been wanting to watch it. I have that movie saved on YouTube, ready to watch until I don't know, someone flags in, it goes down.
Honestly, you watch like 4 movies a day. Just watch.
I haven't seen a movie in a while actually,
I
because
don't believe
I've been
you.
playing way more video games than movies lately. So also movie theaters just aren't around, and I don't want to go to a movie theater and get sick.
You came over and watched Yojimbo the other day.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
true.
yeah, but I don't. That was all of us.
Oh, so it doesn't count because we were there.
Well, you say I
Brian
watch
hates
it
his
every day,
friends.
and I'm like, well, that makes sense because I was hanging out with people. I don't watch like movies by myself every day.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think
Many days, yes, not every day.
I know you have. Have you ever like watched a movie by yourself? Like, just sat there?
Very
Yeah.
rarely. Like
Yeah.
anime movies, plenty. Like movies.
The last time I can think the last time I can think of me deciding to watch a film by myself that wasn't like something I had to watch for a class or an assignment in college was probably in high school. It was so random. In high school, one day I said I'm gonna watch Risky Business by myself, and I watched it,
remember that.
and then I was like, that was okay. And then I think that was the day where I was like, man, watching movies by myself sucks ass. Like even if it's a really good movie that no one wants to talk during, something about as soon as it ends being able to turn and be, wow, that was really good, makes it so much better that I don't like. It ends and I sit there by myself and go,
So I take it, if I asked, have any of you went to a movie theater by yourself? I'm the only one that's gonna say yes.
No, Brian, we're not that sad.
Thanks, Ryan.
no, I don't think it's. I think that's like a.
No, I'm just fucking around. I
Yeah.
don't think it's the same thing as like people always say the same shit about like going to eat at a restaurant by yourself or something. It's like fuck that. Just do what you
Well,
want.
because yeah,
I remember
it's-
I used to always be embarrassed by going to a restaurant by myself because of that stereotype of like, oh, if you sit down at a restaurant by yourself, you're like immediately
what
seen as
restaurant are you
lonely
going
and
by
all.
yourself? Taco Bell.
Well, I'm just saying any restaurant.
Because, like, for me, it's like, like a nice sit-down restaurant, I would feel weird if I was there by myself. But I'm going
But
to get fast
A
food
lot,
or
of,
pizza
a lot of
or
those
something.
good restaurants still have like a bar and all that.
Yeah,
Going to get drunk by yourself. Smart idea.
yeah. I've never gone to see a movie by myself. I probably never will. But I will say, movies are like, they're one of my hobbies, but I would still consider video games to be like my main thing. and play video games by myself all the time. And to the point where, like, I greatly prefer single-player games to multiplayer games. Now, I like playing single-player games with other people in the room sometimes and, like, chatting about it. But it's not the same with movies where I'm like, oh, this is always better. I'm like, no, sometimes I just like to sit and play game. So I understand why you would want to, like, watch a movie by yourself. It just does not click in my brain at all. My brain is like, this is not fun.
I think I'd rather watch like sad movies on my own, probably. Like
Yeah, 'cause,
watching
like
I wouldn't want to watch A Silent Voice with a group. I don't know, maybe, but
I would.
I would, and I know we've talked about it, but it's like watching that movie on my own was like,
I don't mind watching any movie in a group or by myself, but I do completely understand that there are certain movies that just feel like I'd rather see it either on my own, or it would be a much better experience if I saw it with other people.
watching Hereditary as a group was like the best fucking decision ever.
Oh, I
Who was there
watched
for
it
that?
with not me.
Oh my god, can I tell my story of when I saw Hereditary for the first time?
That's a
Wasn't
good
that
story.
the one you watched on your own?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good.
That wasn't on purpose that I brought that up. I forgot that you'd watched it on your own.
but I saw that movie in theaters, like, and I remember like trying to invite people, but like no one. That was like back when like no one knew what it was.
It wasn't even
And
just that. I remember I was like broke, and I was like, I can't
Yeah.
afford to
Yeah,
do a
that was a
movie.
problem for a while.
Yeah, but I was obsessed with going to the movie theater all the time, so I went anyway. I went in, the air conditioning's on, it's freaking cold. There's only like 3 other people in the theater with me, and they're all like completely like distance, like way
And this
ahead of
is,
me,
like-
and some of them looked kind of off to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna be over here in my corner, being cold, and that's it.
And this is like a scary fucking movie.
Yeah, this
like,
is a scary movie. It's very disturbing. And I remember right when the movie started, like after all the previews and commercials, right when the movie started, I just heard a zipper go, and I'm like,
Because
and for the longest time, I didn't hear that zipper again, as if it was closing. So I was just like, and I'm freaking cold, and I'm watching this movie. The movie's really scary. I'm like kind of like on edge, and the whole time I'm like, I hope to God someone's not jerking off to this. I really hope someone's not getting off on this. And then finally the movie's over, and I'm like, that was a really good movie. Holy crap, I'm really scared. And then I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere near anyone else in this theater also. Dear God, I want to get warm. And then as I was walking out, I saw in the corner of my eye where the sound came from. The guy is still sitting down, and I swear to God, I actually saw him go and just zip up his pants. I swear to God. And I was really uncomfortable. I like sped walked out of that theater back into my car, and I'm like, there was many things that was scary in that theater. Some of it wasn't just the movie.
Brian had a chance encounter with Paul Rubens.
Oh my god.
Pee Wee Herman jerking off to
On
Hereditary.
the flip side of movies being more enjoyable with a group, I have an experience where a movie was much less enjoyable. That time we watched Ghost in the Shell and couldn't fucking hear anything.
Well, that's
That-
why I was gonna bring up that like there are
That
some. I,
sucked.
I always would be down to watch movies with friends, but there are some movies where I'm like, I will watch this with 3 friends or less.
No, yeah. The problem with that day was there was way too many
Way too
people
many
in
of
the
us, yeah.
There's
room.
like 10 of us.
Yeah,
trying to
and
sit
like
down and
so
watch
like if
If
one
all of us had
person,
cared, sure, but
if
you
one
know.
person decided to say something or make a noise, there was always just someone that wanted to make a comment or a joke, and it would go on for too long. And I remember like just starting the movie was like the biggest pain in the ass, and but then like the whole time there was just something about like, I don't know if it was like the audio from the movie wasn't loud enough, and like we didn't want it to go even louder because of like, I don't know, your parents or whatever, or if just like, I don't know, maybe my hearing is gone. But I remember just like, holy crap, everyone, even when it was like quiet and no one was talking, it felt like it was hard to hear the movie. I don't know why. That was such a weird experience.
well, the speakers on my TV aren't like the greatest. We don't have a sound bar or anything, but still, like
yeah, that's a good movie, and for some
I need to
odd
rewatch
reason,
that movie really bad.
I guess
I
you weren't there
rewatched
when
that
we.
movie alone.
I
There you go.
rewatched it.
I'd be
Wait,
okay
we
watching it.
rewatched it recently.
Did we?
Oh, I was part of that. I don't know.
We
if
watched
Ryan
it
was
like
part of
over
that.
Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have like been half asleep during that, depending on how late it was.
Well, maybe you didn't watch it.
Or maybe I watched most of the movies we watched on Discord.
I remember there was a group of. I think there was only 4 of us, and I don't think Ryan was one of them.
Maybe not then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I think I might have like popped in for like the final scene where she's fighting the thing, and that was like
Wait,
it.
has there ever been a movie where you watched it by yourself and you're just like, oh, that was fine, that was okay, nothing bad, but then you rewatched it with a group of people and immediately you're like the mood is just way better and everyone's having like a way better time with it and you just enjoy it like way more?
I need a minute to think. That sounds like something I would have experienced.
I
Yeah,
want
I
to
can't
know
think of anything
people's
off the top of my
reactions to
head.
the movie Airplane if they watched it by themselves. I can't imagine your first time watching Airplane.
I would still laugh really hard.
No, yeah, like I would still think
I,
it's
like,
funny.
I watch funny
but here's the
things
thing,
on my own.
It's very rare that I laugh out loud when I'm watching a movie on my own. Even if I think the
Yeah.
movie's like amazingly funny, there are times where I still wouldn't laugh out loud that much
I-
because
I-
like no one's
You know,
around. It's like,
what you're saying has me thinking about something else, kind of, where like when I'm on my own,
yeah.
I'll watch stuff, but it won't be nearly as like funny to me as if I'm in a group. Because when I'm on my own, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's clever, haha, whatever. But
Yeah.
when you're in a group, it's like everyone reacting at the same time, kind of like heightens it. Like I can watch something like The Office on my own. I don't laugh that often when I'm watching The Office or something.
Yeah, I remember watching The Office with a friend of ours, and it was his first time watching it, and he would like burst out laughing.
Yeah, it was
like,
here.
the loudest ever. It was here and somewhere else because I remember
Oh.
it was like the previous day I was watching with them for the first time, and then we came here to watch more, and just his reactions were hilarious and like made the experience like 10 times better.
I see. I find that interesting because I definitely agree that there's stuff that like, oh, this is funnier when I'm with the group. There are things I'm like, oh, I want to watch this with a group because I know we'll all laugh at it. But I always hear because people say that all the time that like, oh yeah, I don't really laugh out loud when I'm by myself. I don't get that. I laugh out loud by myself all the time when I'm watching things. I'll be alone, and like even when I was little, I remember like laughing my ass off watching things in my room by myself, and my mom would comment on it. She'd be like, "Oh, I can hear you must be watching something funny. I hear America's Funniest Home Videos. You're watching, and you're like, people fell down." But like,
Parker actually just has like brain damage and
Yeah.
just laughs
Probably.
hysterically.
He just had-
I don't
brain
think
bleed.
I've ever heard someone laugh as loud as I do, ever, and
That's fair.
people comment on it, and
That's
I'm like,
fair.
I'm like, yeah, you're the one who freaking is recording my laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Penis Parker.
Well, I also
Penis
what
Parker.
what I wanted to say was, it's not just that. I'm not saying I never laugh when I'm alone. Sometimes a movie is just that funny that I have to laugh even when I'm on my own. I know the very first time I ever watched Monty Python: The Holy Grail, I remember loving that movie because it got me to laugh because I was on my own.
I will say,
That's like my mark for something's like actually like really funny.
If it can make you laugh
Yeah.
when you are not with your friends, that's the mark of a really good comedy.
I
where
gotta-
It's just that funny.
Just because it's on my mind, close enough. Got a real actual laugh at me while I was on my own, and I was like, "You got me. All right, fuck."
what you don't have to spoil the joke, but do you remember what it was?
I just
'Cause-
remember laughing at something out loud earlier on my own, and I was like, "Well, shit."
Well, that's how, because I was watching the first couple episodes close enough, and I was like, yeah. And then a couple times I was like laughing really hard, and I was like, this is really good, actually. I will say, on the other end of the spectrum, I like, if I'm watching, I am more likely to cry at a movie if I'm by myself. And then the more people around, the less likely I would do that. And even then, it depends on like who I'm with, I think.
That's funny because I remember last time I cried at a movie by myself. But I remember the last time I cried at a movie was Toy Story 4, and it was just this big group of us.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, see, that's also a theater, which I think can affect things.
Yeah.
It's all the
Because
atmosphere.
yeah, when you're in the theater, you get like the best quality you can get with a movie, as long as everyone else in the movie is behaving and not being loud.
I think it's all the atmosphere too, because like, I think crying works the same way as laughter, where you can where you can, if somebody else is crying, I am more likely to cry, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like
you're like our Tyler, who wrote our intro, he's very much
Go
like
look
that.
up Another Day Dawns on
Yeah.
Spotify.
We're not doing that every episode.
When we mention his name, we will.
Yeah, but he's
but,
like that. He's very much a what's it called, empathy crier, I guess.
Well, because
If
I
you see
remember
someone cry, he's
I
like-
watched all of
Aw,
Steven.
yeah.
Yeah.
I watched all of Steven Universe, and there were some really tender moments in that show where I don't think I teared up at all. And then I rewatched it with a girl I was dating, and she would like cry when watching it, and then I like multiple times while watching it cried at certain moments, and I was like, I wonder if this is because of I have more of an attachment to the show, or if it's because of like the atmosphere in the room or whatever. But I don't know, I find that interesting.
No matter what movie I'm watching, if I can see that it got a strong emotional response from someone, whether it's like they actually got them to cry or it got them to laugh out loud, like a belly laugh, no matter what my feelings toward the movie is, I feel like I have to respect the filmmakers because they technically did their job if they got that emotional reaction from someone.
What about a scream, like in a horror movie? Same thing?
Same thing. That's what they wanted. It sucks if it was like a jump scare because then it's like that's kind of cheap.
What about...
But if like someone's literally like watching a horror movie and they're like used to horror movies and there's just so much suspense that the person's just like, holy crap, I need to turn the lights on, then the filmmakers definitely did their job correctly.
After watching Hereditary, I had nightmares for 2 weeks.
It did its job.
I
Damn,
don't
2
know.
weeks? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Thank God you weren't in my situation. It probably went on for a month.
I don't know if I agree with that, like respecting the filmmakers if it makes you cry, because there's like canned crying moments that make a lot of people cry that you can just insert into stories. Like,
But the thing is, like, it's
Also
all about
music.
how it's executed, though. Because you can have those moments like that, but, like, if you can see through it and it doesn't make you cry, then that means you saw through
there
it.
are a lot of
it's
people-
music a lot of the time.
Yeah, music
It's-
gets me
it's
more
just
than anything.
music that's just it swells and then it's like
Oh my god, music
so
gets
sad and it's like
yeah.
Music gets me more than anything. We were watching, and I think music pushes me over the edge sometimes. I watched 2 films for classes in school. These old Japanese films, both by the same director, and they were both about the like horrors of World War II and soldiers that were like stranded on these different. The Japanese soldiers that were stranded in different places after the war ended. And the first one was, I think, a sadder movie. But the first one being Fires on the Plane. And that movie didn't make me cry. It made me feel like shit, like, the rest of the night. But it didn't make me cry. Then the other one was called The Burmese Harp. Both films directed by Konichi Kawa. And, like, Burmese Harp, I don't think... It's still a very sad movie, but I don't think it was quite as powerful as Fires on the Plane. But Burmese Harp got me to cry because there's a scene with really powerful music because he plays the harp and they all start singing. And I was like, oh, god damn it. And I don't know. I think I'm kind of on Chef's side with this because I think that I can think of things that made me cry where I'm like, that probably wasn't... It's also like the person... you know what state they're in and things like that, because they're like I think I teared up a little bit at the end of Stranger Things season 3, and I was like, that's, you know, it's a touching moment, but it's not like powerful to the point of like is it when spoilers when what's her name, 11, when she's like reading the note from Hopper, I got like teary-eyed and I was like, but this TV show is still, like I wouldn't call this TV show like powerful.
yeah.
I'm like, this is like fun to watch. It's just got me in a moment where I was weak.
My weakness.
My weakness. Letters from my father who is gone.
God.
I don't know. I stand by my opinion.
Good, you should, even if it's wrong.
Yep.
Even if you're a fucking idiot, you should stand by
All
it.
right, listener. We're all about to stand up and beat the shit out of Brian
All
for
right.
having a
Can you
bad
put some
Oh,
sound
here we
effects in
go.
here of us beating the shit out of you?
Shit. Hold on.
Like
Let
Ed
me-
and Eddie sound
Let me
effects.
write down the time code so I can add in all the...
Are you gonna cut this out? of us.
No, just like, okay, now I wrote it down, so everybody just start beating me up right now and make noises.
Fuck you, Brian.
What's going on? I'm gonna take command. We're not talking about anything that the other people want to talk about. We're gonna talk about pools. So I work at a pool business, and I install pools, not for a living, because I don't make enough to live off of that. But I do that. And today I installed a bottom in a pool, and the way that you do that is you have a concrete truck come by.
Double kill.
Halo.
Wait, was it today? The recording of this podcast, is it today where Halo 3 came out, or was it yesterday?
It was like last night, technically.
Yeah, okay.
Halo 3 came out in 2009.
Yeah.
That's not true.
2007.
2008.
I'll go as low as 2000.
Take it or leave it.
Take it
or leave it.
Sold!
But yeah, Halo 3 dropped on Steam yesterday night, or today, whenever.
I downloaded the update.
Yes, I did too, and I downloaded the campaign. It's pretty cool, but despite that happening, Brian and I finished Halo 1 the other night, and then started Halo 2.
Right, you never played through Halo 1 before, right?
Okay, so when I was way younger, I like downloaded Halo 1 onto my PC in the not real way. But
what?
Brian, are you a criminal?
Brian.
No.
Piracy.
Stop.
Brian.
Anyway,
Yo ho ho ho.
Yo.
stop. Okay. But okay, so what happened was I downloaded it then, and I played through like I think 2 levels. I remember getting really lost, which I feel like anyone listening to me would like understand, like, yeah, that can happen.
Halo 1's a bit
if
of
you
a
never
maze.
played Halo 1 before. But I did play it. I remember like the online still had a community because it was on PC, so there were actually still people playing online, which was fun. But I don't know. I got like just you guys are distracting me. Okay.
Don't look at us then.
But I played like those 2 levels, got lost. Then I played the online, and that was it. And then I like deleted it, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I played like Halo multiplayer from like the other games, like.
Well, yeah, because we were playing it with like a pretty decent group, and
Like even then, I had a cousin
Street.
that would bring his 360 to my house, and I would play Halo on his Xbox when he'd come over. But yeah, I like before Master Chief Collection's release on PC, I wasn't that I wasn't that big on Halo. Like I didn't play through any campaign, and I had only a dabble of like experience with the with the
dabble.
multiplayer.
I'm like Halo boy.
Yeah, of course you.
'Cause- well, yeah, I'm the one that got everybody else to play them.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like I never played them until Reach
And
myself.
You grew up with them like as they came out. You were playing them, right? No. Oh, never mind.
No,
then.
that's really what I was saying. The first one I played was Reach in 2010, and then went back and then played the rest of them because I think the anniversary for Combat Evolved came out the year after Reach, so I ended up playing that at some point. But even before that, I ended up playing Halo 3 and everything. I played them like so out of order. I played the prequel, and then 3, and then Combat Evolved, and then at some point went and played ODST, and then all the, everything and all that, and was like very into the lore and everything, and like had a bunch of books and stuff. And
This is my experience with Halo. I was into Red versus Blue before getting into Halo.
understandable.
But Red versus Blue is awesome. I don't care.
Yeah,
Every now and then I'd go back and watch Red versus Blue, and I think it kind of holds up. Actually, I think it's still.
Oh, the early stuff definitely.
The
yeah.
early stuff in terms of how it looks is definitely like half the screens cut off because they had to like not show whatever gun they were using to film it, and you can see it a reticle on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, when they start to, I'm pretty sure Halo put stuff in that let you not do that. I don't know. But,
well, they improved the Forge mode, yes. The
Forge
Forge mode
mode.
and theater stuff. Like, there's a theater, like, mode in some of them that you can go into.
Yeah, so I know they, like,
Probably
fixed
because
that
of Red
problem.
versus Blue. But, yeah. So, you played Combat Evolved for the first time. So, I don't know if you have anything
What did you think?
specifically to say about
The music's amazing.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's, like... no one can dispute that, no matter what. The music is, like, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I bet you the soundtrack for Halo 1 I like more than the actual game Halo 1.
Yeah.
It's on Spotify, and I will play it sometimes when I'm doing stuff.
It's
That one and the
amazing.
Halo
It's
3
amazing.
soundtrack.
I have a
Halo
friend who can hear the first few notes of any Halo track and just be like, "That's this song."
I'm
That,
sorry.
is that
you
friend
were really
Ryan?
low when you said that.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
I like the soundtrack. I don't know that much. But,
Yeah, in terms of like the actual game, level design is like, yeah, you get lost in it really easily, and whenever you're in like close quarters, like hallways, they look very similar to each other. So it's not just that like you don't know where to go. It's also like, have I been here before,
Yeah.
or is this a new room? Like,
it's especially a problem in the second half where they start reusing the levels.
yeah. But gameplay wise though, it's good. Like
It still feels
all,
good to
all the
play.
weapons feel good. I mean, what is it? The rifle. The main rifle
The
is
assault
like
rifle,
a little. The main assault rifle is like the only one where it feels weak, even though like we've killed plenty of enemies with it. It's like it feels weak.
Well, the assault rifle one's really weird because it's more like a SMG with a big clip.
Yeah.
Like, it shoots really fucking fast
Like-
and isn't that accurate.
In Halo 2, the SMG feels better also.
Well, yeah, everything feels better in 2.
Yeah, true.
But, yeah. Well, that's why the SMG even exists, because they were like...
Yeah.
That's why the SMG a battle rifle exists in 2, because they were like, okay, the assault rifle shoots way too fast to be like an assault rifle, so... Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's just take that part and make an SMG. And then, okay, well, we need, like, a regular rifle for you to use. So, okay, fuck it. Here's the battle rifle. It's a 3-round burst thing.
Yeah.
Shoots slower, it has farther range. It's like, okay, there you go.
But overall though, like I don't know, I don't want to play it again, which I know like is like seems like a big negative, but I'm also glad I played it, and I'm glad that I got to like see what happens in the story, and like also like
One's very light on story.
the graphics, like because even the remaster was from like 2011, right?
Yeah.
So like even the remaster is kind of like almost a decade old. But like just like the art design, like when you actually get like I think it's the second level where you get to see like the Halo ring and all that.
Yeah.
I think that looks amazing. And it's like I think that's like one of the most iconic visuals in like any
Oh,
medium.
yeah.
Is just like you get to just see it. And
There-
it feels real. Like even with like these older graphics.
Were you looking
like,
at the remaster graphics or the classic ones? 'Cause
well, both, because you can just press tab.
Yeah, but like, what were you mainly looking at?
Well, Halo 1, we were actually like the whole game constantly pressing tab.
That's what I did.
Because the
when I played it.
graphics like are so different, but it's so weird how sometimes the decisions they made for remastering the graphics, sometimes they like took a step backwards and they made it like harder to like.
That
It-
bothers
the
me.
light- the
That's-
lighting is
You'd switch it
different.
and go, oh, they didn't get the point of the scene at all.
Yeah, like the atmosphere is
that,
off.
that bothers me to the point where I would say I do not like the new graphics in it. Like,
Yeah.
I would.
I don't. There's a ton. They had a bunch of fog and stuff
I think
in the
there's straight
skybox.
up-
And there were
that
some parts where they took away fog, and it also like made the
Yeah.
atmosphere worse.
I think there are straight up parts. Maybe I made this up, but I thought there was at least one part where there is like some kind of a sign pointing you where to go, and the remaster just does not have it. Like
it's in
an
the last
arrow.
level. There's like an arrow on the wall that's just removed. There's
And
like
I-
a hey go here thing. But what's funny is I didn't even know this because I played through this level in the new graphics only. I don't think I ever switched back to the library level.
Yeah.
The first Big Flood level, or the second Big Flood level, whatever. There in the original there are no arrows on the ground at all, but in the remastered whatever version, they do add them so you know where to go. Apparently that's a big part of the reason people hated that level in the original. It's because you had no idea where the fuck to go. But so they do. It does help there, but then for some reason they remove them in other places. And it's like hard to tell where to go. Which is bizarre.
honestly, the fact that you can switch between them with the press of a button was the best choice they could have done for this. Like,
Oh, yeah,
That's
it's
just
the
a cool
coolest. It's the
feature.
coolest remaster thing.
I wish more remasters remasters did that, where you can just switch between graphics literally like at the press of a
Yeah.
button. I think it's awesome.
I think it's impressive that they can just have both things loaded at the same time.
Yeah, that is impressive.
Like, I get that the originals are from like the original Xbox, so it's not like
Yeah.
that big of a deal, but it's like, it's cool.
There's I'm trying to think of like other games that I think that would be cool to do with. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like Halo is like the remaster is literally just graphics. It's like a carbon copy gameplay wise of the original game, right? Well, with
Yeah,
Conquer, they've actually changed dialoge, and
Yeah.
I think the combat is like completely different in that game.
That
You
would
have to,
make
like,
it
strafe.
Even more impressive if you could
Yeah.
switch it with the
Yeah.
button.
Yeah,
Well, it's like even with Halo 2 and the cutscenes, like the cutscenes aren't even timed the same
yeah,
because they add so much and they're so much better.
yeah.
Like that was the other, like you were saying.
Cutscenes
like,
are better than the new one. You're saying.
oh my god, yeah,
Yeah.
because in everything is everything's in engine in Halo 1, in the original and in the cutscenes. It's all in engine. So they just kept it like that, and they look fine in the remaster. It's not amazing, but and then 2 they were like, okay, Blur, the studio, okay, you're
Yeah.
making all the cutscenes, and they look amazing. like
No,
yeah.
I agree. Like, Halo 1 was the game where I pressed tab all the time just because sometimes the new graphics did look better and, like, they added
Yeah.
a lot to, especially, like, foliage. But then there were times where it was, like, you're actually, like, making it worse where, you don't understand the atmosphere. There were times where, I feel like the flashlight in the first game is rendered obsolete if you played
It's
the
almost
remastered
worthless because
graphics,
it's so bright everywhere.
Yeah, like, they made everything so bright. Like,
Yeah,
the times where we had to use a flashlight, I think I remember us actually going like, "Crap, which button is the
Yeah.
flashlight?" Like we didn't use it like this whole game.
yeah, it's like a main. Like there's so many areas where it's supposed to be like a little horror-ish. 'Cause
Yeah.
Halo 1, like the original, is like a borderline. I wouldn't call it horror, but it's like horror themed.
It,
When did
has
it-
horror elements in
When
it.
did it come out?
2001. It is heavily inspired by Aliens.
Yeah, it's I definitely, especially in the second half, it's definitely
Oh,
inspired by
absolutely, yeah.
aliens.
Yeah.
That's still the era where first-person shooters are like tied together with horror.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Doom 3 did it.
Yeah. Well, Doom 3 was on the 360, wasn't it? Oh no, it was on the original Xbox.
Original Xbox.
Yeah, that's right. Makes that even more impressive. That game is really good looking. Like looking back. Anyway, sticking with Halo, but yeah, Halo was a cool game. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like I respect
And
it.
then it just gets better from there.
Yeah, 2 is just one. I mean, okay, saying it's just one but better is a little not fair, but it is significantly better than 1.
I would still replay 1 at least one more time because it's been so long.
I've liked Halo 1 more every single time I've played it. Because I get
Interesting.
less lost every time, and I understand how things work more every time. Because it's very
Yeah.
simple compared to the other ones that come after it, but like it's still cool. It's like it's so different in tone. Like you
Yeah.
played the first 3 missions or 4 of Halo 2, and it's like
Oh my god,
it's an action movie.
Yeah, Halo 2 is awesome. Like
Yeah, like
I don't know how I'm gonna feel about playing the Arbiter because I feel like I died way more as the Arbiter than any other level in both Halo games.
yeah,
And there's a part of me that's like, it's probably because the energy sword isn't a one-hit kill. It's like,
this is the only
when
game
you,
where it's not.
and when you hit someone with it, sometimes if you do the thing where you lunge, you're like stuck in this animation where like the
Yeah.
Arbiter does like an uppercut, and you can't defend yourself. So I'm just getting shot at everywhere.
Yeah, the energy sword's way more of a like, at least in 2, it's more of a
It's also
like,
it's cool enough that maybe it's just my fault, but it's cool enough that I don't want to not have it on me. So that basically means I have one gun on me
yeah.
at a time, and sometimes that one gun's not enough. But that's my only thing. Everything else with Halo 2 is rad, especially the brain dead AI Marines that
Oh my
drive the
God.
Warthog.
It was like I've only played Halo 2 the one time.
Yeah.
The anniversary version. Don't remember that shit. Like I've heard the legends of these terrible Marine AI drivers, but oh my god, it's so bad.
It's bad, but definitely in a funny way. Where I'm like, I thank God for this remaster. They didn't fix that. Thank God they didn't mess
Yeah.
with it, because I had so much fun watching them just do whatever.
dude, they ran me over multiple times.
And you're the chief. They can't do that.
Yeah, like absolutely baffling. Like,
I feel like we're gonna
How
talk
about it?
about Halo more on future podcasts as I go through them, because I'm going through them for
Yeah.
the first time, and you're like, oh yeah, more Halo.
Yes.
So as a fan, you're like really excited.
oh, I'm back in.
but I'm
I'm
definitely
like
like,
actually back in.
But I'm definitely like, this is my first time. So like, I feel like we didn't even get anywhere story wise in Halo 2. Although it had a really good
It's got an awesome opening.
intro. Yeah.
Sets everything up well, but yeah.
Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Well, it was mostly because I was thinking about it.
Dunkachino.
Well, because I was thinking about Halo from the context of someone who's just gotten into Resident Evil, where I'm like, okay, Resident Evil has like its original, it has its original trilogy, and it's like, okay, they're all great, they're all awesome.
Yeah.
Has a bunch of spin-offs. It's like, who cares? Even then with Halo, it's like 1 through 3, all great. 4, I really like. The
Yeah.
campaign of, I think it's awesome.
I'll judge it as it comes.
Yeah. And then the 2 spin-off shooters, Reach and ODST. Well, Reach isn't really a spin-off, it's the prequel, but whatever. Like, they're also awesome.
Yeah.
Like, the only real miss as far as the campaigns go is Halo 5.
Yeah.
Because Halo 5 fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Its story is just bad and not well implemented. And that's a shame. And I think, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, so why has everyone always been like, oh, Halo's dead? And it's like, okay, it's the lukewarm reception to Halo 4's multiplayer, which isn't that good, admittedly.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking back, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what Halo stuff we got on the Xbox One. Before 5 came out, we got this top-down shooter, Halo Spartan something,
Yeah.
Halo whatever Assault, and it
What's
was like
Halo Wars? What is
Halo
that?
Wars is a real-time strategy game. It's good too. It's the
Okay.
first one's really good. I hear the second one's cool too. I hear a lot of people really like the villains from the second one
All right.
also.
So there's like an actual like story to them.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was like, honest to God, I don't know why I thought this. I thought it was like a Civ ripoff. but
No.
in the Halo universe. I don't know why.
It's like StarCraft. It's not like Civ.
All right.
But yeah, like just in the past few years, it's like we got like 2 shitty like top-down shooter games,
Yeah.
and then Halo 5. And it was, that was all the Halo stuff on the Xbox One until Halo Wars 2, which was apparently pretty good. But it was like there was such a stretch where nothing Halo related was coming out and was good that everyone was like, "Oh yeah, nobody cares anymore."
Well, it's because that's the curse of like we haven't gotten the thing we wanted yet, and so something that is good and related to it, like that happens all the time where spin-offs come out and immediately shit on. Like, I don't think this game ended up being good at all, but if Metroid Prime Federation Force was good, do you think anyone would have cared? Because there was no Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
So no, everyone would have been like, whether it was good or bad or whatever, that game was doomed to
People
fail.
got so mad about that announcement. It's like it's only because Prime 4 didn't exist at the time.
And I've had
It's the same thing with like Diablo whatever on the phones.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that announcement on its own is fine. Who
The
gives a
one
shit?
guy just going, is this a early April Fool's joke?
Yeah, exactly. It's
I-
like that announcement's fine. That game is not the problem. It's the problem is that you don't have the real thing yet.
Because
It's like,
I've had this thought before where playing Smash, because Captain Falcon's really cool, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be sick if like a Captain Falcon action game came out? And I was like, man, that can never happen, because it's been so long since we got an actual F-Zero that game would die like immediately. People would be like, what is this?
I mean,
well,
look at what happens when you even have real games that are like, good, that are like not what you expected.
A real game in a long
Yeah,
time.
no, I mean like an actually like really good game, but it's not the thing people wanted. People complain. Fucking MGR.
You're Rising.
People thought MGR was like this weird, like what the fuck, Raiden as like this cyborg guy. Like,
I think the only thing people complained about was Raiden, though. Because I remember the first reveal of it, where they were cutting the watermelons. People thought that looked awesome, but everybody was like, why do we have to play as Raiden, though?
I think
That was like the
guess so.
thing I remember.
the thing is though, I
And
think
then that game made Raiden cool.
that's the thing though, but that game came out and was good, and I think like reversed that. Like, I don't think people bitch about MGR anymore.
well,
Or-
that's
or,
what I
like-
just mean. It was
like,
good enough to get past that, but it's like when it was
do people
announced.
still bitch about Devil May Cry 4 that you don't get to play as Dante in the first half? Like,
Definitely not, because Nero now has a fan base.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's what I'm saying. Where like, I
Like,
don't know.
Devil May Cry 4 still plays like Devil May Cry. MGR does not play like MGR.
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is like, but MGR has fans now, and I think Halo Wars 2 might end up in the same boat where like people were probably like, oh whatever,
Also,
but now it came out, it's
Metal
good, it's
Gear-
probably okay.
Metal Gear Rising was also before Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
So it was also that was a big part of it.
That probably.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
That's my point.
if I wonder if MGS5 never came out, if the reception for MGR would be different.
Yeah, like you
Like-
get
like the
the
current
main
reception.
series, but also how about this other thing that we're gonna do?
And you said about Halo Wars 2. That wasn't even really my point with Halo Wars 2. I was more so talking about the other two spin-offs.
Yeah, yeah.
But with Halo Wars 2, it's just like nobody was like, "Oh, this is gonna be shit" or anything. It was just like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like really cool because people wanted another Halo Wars for a long time. But it wasn't like the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like a good shooter would have been like, all right, cool. That's why I'm back to the Resident Evil thing. It's like, okay, so you go through the Resident Evil mainline games. You go from like 1 through 7, and it's like there's only one of those games I call bad. Because like I enjoy 5 enough, and it's fun. It isn't like amazing, but it's like fun. And it's like the rest are all bangers, like the whole way through. And it's like I think about them like it's like the same with Halo. Like 1 through 4 are all great. Reach and ODST are awesome, and it's like
How long?
it's like I think Infinite. I'm like very hopeful that Infinite could be the RE7.
Well, okay, because
of
you
Halo.
Now, as I'm playing through it now, I'm hoping for it also. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I would love,
'Cause you
I would
were-
love to be hyped for a new Halo game, and it be a really good Halo game.
Because you were talking about this in context of like why people called Halo dead or whatever.
Yeah.
So how
Like
long?
5 was the Resident Evil 6 of Halo,
Yeah, yeah.
where it was like, oh,
How long of there not being either not being a game or not being a good game in a series? How long until it's determined to be dead?
I think it.
Like a whole console generation, or is that like?
Devil May Cry 5 exists, so this question is hard.
Well, yeah. So does like.
Yeah, that is
People
a
will call
weird
things dead
question.
no matter what. I mean,
Well,
like,
yeah, but for you personally, because you can go all the way back to like there was no Metroid game on the N64. Metroid must be dead. And then
Yeah.
Metroid Prime came out. Fucking no Mother Earthbound games on N64, and then the Mother 3 comes out on the Game Boy Advance.
that's a series I would call dead, actually. Now I would call it dead because the creator's not there anymore. Nobody wants to make another one. They don't make enough money to make more.
It's
doesn't make sense.
dead because the creator killed it.
Yeah, exactly. On purpose,
Like,
because it's
stop,
like,
I don't
want to
make these.
I
Someone
would
else
say
make them.
That's a series I would call dead. Metal Gear Solid, maybe? Because Konami doesn't want to
I
make games?
bet you if we get more Metal Gear Solid games, they're not going to be good.
when it
Because
comes
Metal Gear Survive basically showed that without Kojima there, if Konami just did whatever with it, they're going to make bad shit.
Yeah.
because
So in the context of like a series being dead, I think it's more like a zombie kind of thing.
yeah.
Where it's like, I think people are like, oh, 343 doesn't know what they're doing with Halo. And it's like, I don't think that's true.
But for
you know, like, it just, it depends. Like, you know, you talk about, like BioWare.
Oh.
Like, their series are, no matter what, I think they're dead.
Yeah,
because all the people that
Sonic
made the original
Chronicles
ones are
is
done.
definitely dead. They're not going to
Yeah,
be
they're never coming back.
But what I was saying, what I'm thinking is like, in terms of just time,
yeah,
whether
we're
that
just talking
time, whether that time be no releases or that time be no good ones, I think for me, because you can always take a console generation off for a series to like recoup and then come back, and that's happened so many times. Like I just named a couple examples, and there's a ton more if you think about them. And I would say 2 console generations makes me go like, okay, this is like Metroid. I was never like Metroid is completely dead because the Wii wasn't that long ago, you know. Like there was Metroid Prime 3 and Other M.
Prime 3 was 2009.
Yeah, so that's at all through the generation, this generation.
Yeah.
I was like, you could still make another Metroid game because there was one on the Wii that was well accepted.
I think if we wanted to put like a number of years, I think it'd be a decade.
Well,
I
because
think if a series goes a full decade without anything, I'm like, I think it's fair to say like, oh, this is dead.
and my comparisons are 2 series that I would call dead. F-Zero, because there just hasn't been one since the GameCube, and that's
And I
a
think
long
Nintendo
time ago.
flat out doesn't want to make one because they're like, we don't want multiple racing franchises. And Mario Kart sells like hotcakes.
And then another example of something that is still releasing games, but they're not good, and I'm saying they're dead. Paper Mario's fucking dead. Like
Yeah,
like
they have no desire to make like a good one.
yeah, they want to make like
and
little
even the
paper
fans
jokes.
are like giving up on it almost.
Yeah.
Like people were like kind of holding out hope for Origami King, but I
It
feel like
got-
every time it comes up in my Twitter timeline, people point out like, oh, now there's no more experience points. There's no reason to do any of these battles.
It got like 8s and 9s. The reviews.
Oh wait, it came out.
It comes out this week.
Oh damn, I didn't know that.
It got announced
I
like
think
two,
it comes out
like
two
tomorrow-
months before
It
it's
was out like
released.
tomorrow or Friday.
I thought it came. I
It
thought
got
it was
an-
gonna come out like in the fall. I didn't.
It
realize
got
was
announced
that-
2 months before its release.
So it got 8s and 9s.
Yeah, but
That's actually surprising to me. I didn't.
Okay,
think it
but
was
It's like
those are-
eight
those are
nines, but
from,
it's like
like-
if you're a fan of the original RPGs, don't bother.
yeah, it's like 8s and 9s coming from IGN where they're like, okay, we're gonna blast through this, and like Paper Mario is supposed to be a 40-hour RPG, so blasting through it, I don't know if they're able to blast through it. That's surprising to me, but those games just this charm has been completely sucked out of them, and Nintendo has been pretty firm on that. Like, no, we don't want to go back to what we don't want to make what everyone liked. We want to make what we want to make with these. Origami King pisses me off. Where I'm just like, how tone deaf it is, because the other two games I can write off as mistakes if they bounce back and we're like, okay, we learned what you guys are looking for, but they like clearly haven't. Because especially since I've played a little bit of Thousand Year Door lately, and you see how creative the characters and the designs are for everything, and then you get to Paper Mario and Origami King, and they're like, everything has to be a joke about paper, which was never the point of Paper Mario. Like, it's just an aesthetic choice. I'm pretty sure, okay, this might be pulling something out of my ass, but I thought they said that the flat thing was, like, initially an accident, and then they went, no, looks cool, and then they, like, made the game around it. But even then, the paper thing has been as much only like, oh, he'll fold himself into a plane to get to this next area, or he can squeeze thing. It hasn't been like everything in the game is paper themed. That started, I think, with Sticker Star with the stickers. There's stickers for everything.
Yeah, because aren't the three like ones people don't like? It's like the stickers and then paint, and then
and now origami.
Yeah,
And it's like, it's not even just that. Origami King, I feel like, takes it to a new level where it's just. The bosses are colored pencils, tape, and rubber bands, and I'm like, wow,
that's too much.
And that's like the name of them also. Like they don't have fun
tape,
designs.
Yeah, it was like tape
not
is
even
just
like,
a roller of tape, and it's just called tape. Like that's stupid.
It's
like
not
a
even
part of
like
me that's like
Tapester
maybe
or
that's-
something, and he's like,
There's like a part of me like that's like maybe that's also part of like the joke where it's literally just a gigantic roll of tape with like no face, and it's just called tape.
if that was one boss in the game, I'd think it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
The fact that it's everything,
like
Everything, yeah.
it's like, no, you just didn't try.
Especially when I go back to the old bosses, and I'm like, oh, the Thousand Year Door is oozing creativity, and it will never happen again.
What was the like slightly related but also kind of off topic? What was the last Mario and Luigi game that came out?
Oh, okay.
Wasn't
So
it
hold on.
the remake of one of them or something?
Okay.
Not remake.
Oh,
review.
3DS?
So they did Superstar, then Partners in Time, then Bowser's Inside Story. Then they did Bowser's Inside
Dream
Story. Bowser's
Team.
Inside Story was the last one that was like really well received. All
That's
the other
my
ones were,
favorite
like,
DS
fine.
game.
So then after that it was Dream Team for the 3DS, which I heard was pretty good. And then the last one after that was Paper Jam, which was a crossover between Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario.
All right.
So Paper Mario is in your party with Mario and Luigi. And I heard that they took both of these franchises that were like dying and made this thing that was also boring. Like it was just like
Oh, so it wasn't good.
They were like, please let us
I
kill
heard
it.
it's
That's
got the
so
same
funny.
problems where like the games were just we were getting so many Mario and Luigi games in such a short amount of time. I feel like, and then we got 2 remakes. That shit sucks too because that studio's dead. Mario and
Yeah.
Luigi studio closed down.
Dude, Bowser's Inside Story is such a good fucking game.
I-
It's so good.
That's the only one I've played, and I only got like halfway through. I got
I
stuck
beat
at
it
some
multiple
part,
times.
and
I think I
was
beat it
like,
like 5 times, dude.
Oh my God, really?
Because here's the thing. Like, I was allowed to bring my DS on the school bus back in, like, middle school and even high school. But, like, that doesn't mean I got to buy video games all the time, though. Like, I couldn't drive to the store, and even then when I could, because I was with my mom, there were times where she was like, "No, you're not buying games. Stop." So that means I had a limited amount of DS games that I got to play. So Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, like every day on the school bus, and I'm like the last kid to go home. So my bus ride's like half an hour long. So that means like every single day, like yeah, I beat it multiple times.
See, I had all the Pokemon DS games, so I would just what Pokemon game is like, depending on how much you do to it, usually like 20 to 40 hours, and I just had like 80 hours in all of them because of that. That was my thing. I would carry on Pokemon, and like after I beat the game, I was just like, I'm just running around catching Pokemon, doing whatever.
So the only Pokemon game I ever did the post game for was Diamond and Pearl, I think.
That has
Because that was like the one I had.
It's got the second best post game out of all of them after Heart Gold, or the Gold and Silver, which is just here's 8 more gyms. You just want to go back to the last game and do a bunch of stuff in that area, but 2 years later or however much time passes.
Yeah.
I know they're all older.
So, I actually want to backtrack to the Dead franchise conversation.
I can't
because Ryan brought up the 10-year time limit before it's dead, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out in 2007, and then was it this year or last year?
Alex?
This year.
This year.
Was it this year?
This year.
Yeah.
And so in 2020,
Yeah.
Well, that's a
13 years later,
that's a
but-
revival.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but 2 years ago, would you have blamed anyone for going, "Oh, yeah, Half-Life's dead"?
no.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
So
like,
it came back from the dead, but also it did the Paper Mario where it said, let's change up the game style. It's now a VR game. Half-Life Alyx is a VR game, which they have said is a VR game first and a Half-Life game second. So
See,
it flipped the 10-year franchise death and also the Paper Mario fuckery.
See, here's the thing, though. I think that once a franchise has been gone for more than 10 years, it's perfectly okay to bring it back and like, fuck with it. Like, Kid Icarus Uprising is the
that's
best
true.
Kid Icarus game. And that was, like, 15 years or something like that? More than that.
yeah. Well, Kid Icarus
Oh,
is weird
it was
because...
like 20 years or something. It was...
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the original, like,
I don't know when the
two
Game
games
Boy game came out, but...
But like there was only 2 games before
Yeah.
that came out. So that means even if you're counting the Game Boy games, that's not even Game Boy Color. That is just Game Boy.
Yeah,
So
like
that was-
original
that's
Game
still-
Boy
Pretty sure that's
until
still 80s.
3DS. Yeah. And so, but what I'm saying is, like, I think the difference there is that I don't think there was this demand for a Kid Icarus game. I think what's going on there is
Certainly not the way there was a demand for a Half-Life game.
that exactly Half-Life I
Yeah.
think is this unique case where so much time has passed and there's still such a big demand for
Yeah.
a new one. Like if Half-Life 3 came out, that would make so much money.
Yeah. It would also have, like, the most unrealistic expectations in the
Oh, yeah.
universe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
no
yeah,
one would
you think
think-
The Last of Us 2 has unrealistic expectations to follow the quote-unquote best game of all time?
I want to play Half-Life 3 with the gravity gun and the portal gun and a new gun that does puzzle things. And like, don't.
The space gun.
Yeah.
The time gun.
How about a gun that just shoots metal objects that does lots of damage?
How about a gun that shoots more guns that open parallel dimensions where there are, get this, more guns?
That's from something.
Gun life.
right?
No.
It's from Chef's Egg Brain.
I could have sworn that was,
It was-
a joke that you could find and enter the gungeon.
Hatched into my mouth right now.
From his brain
It hatched
cloaca.
in my brain and it
God.
laid in my mouth, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I have.
I
to say.
think
Real quick, I just want to say about Kid Icarus, because Kid Icarus is such a weird case where it's like that game is not even remotely similar
yeah.
No.
to the old games. Like, not even close. Like at least Alex is like first person and you shoot things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
There are guns.
and the graphics are slightly the same, even though it's just real.
yeah, it's like the same style.
Yeah.
You know, fucking Kid Icarus Uprising is just a different franchise with the
I
Kid
mean,
Icarus name.
you shoot arrows in the NES game.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Yes.
damn, it got me.
You use the 3 things, don't you? the 3 sacred treasures or whatever they're
Shield?
called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you use them in both games for like
Okay.
the fighting Medusa.
Well, how you use them is completely different also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're there.
Yeah,
It counts.
It's like
Eggplants are both
Kid
in
Icarus
them.
Uprising is
Uprising is a, okay. We put Pit in Smash and people liked him. So
yeah.
and also Sakurai has this idea for a cool game.
We could have gotten Kid Icarus Uprising, I think years earlier, if Capcom knew what to do with Mega Man in 3D.
Yeah.
But
But
we
people
didn't.
like Legends.
Well, Legends, yeah.
Okay.
I have never seen.
Do people
gameplay
still
of
like Legends? Because I think over time people have been like, ugh.
I don't know. I mean, shit.
No one talks about it, and it ain't on.
Well, I
It ain't in any
when
of the
people-
collections.
I'm sorry. When people do talk about it, though, I never hear anything bad about it either. But I'm also not a Mega Man fan, so I don't go out of my way to like listen to these conversations. So I don't know what to say about that.
I don't even know what you would play Legends on. Like, I don't know what console generation that
Well,
even is.
3
like,
was canceled, and that was supposed to be a 3DS game.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The first. Yeah.
I assumed they were closer to like the PS1 generation.
Well, 1
They
and
are
2 were
PS1
PS1.
games.
Oh, okay.
3
okay.
was
The
going to
third
revive
game
it
was
for
gonna be
3DS.
yeah.
Oh.
It was like they were bringing the franchise back, and everyone's like,
And
yeah.
it would have been amazing because the Mighty Number 9 guy was going to make it.
Oh, of course. He only works on good things.
Did I ever tell you guys that I still have a $5 pre-order for a Wii U copy of Mighty Number 9 at GameStop that I'm too embarrassed to go cancel?
What?
Last time I went to
Wait,
GameStop,
do you actually have to like go to GameStop? And is it still eligible where you just show them like the receipt and you get it? Or
no. I would still have to pay for the rest of it,
Oh.
but I have not gotten my $5 back.
Oh.
And because last time I went, I said something, and they were like, "What about this game you have pre-ordered?" And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Mighty Number 9 for Wii U." And I literally there's people around, and I was like, and I like changed the conversation because I was like, "What the fuck?"
Embarrassed that you
Maybe-
wanted to get
Maybe,
Mighty Number 9.
You should go get your $5 back before GameStop disappears from the face of the earth.
Yeah, Reggie's gonna take that
They
$5.
need that 5 more than I do.
They probably do. Yeah, you're right.
All
I'm just
right.
gonna pay for I don't know how many pre-owned games. Like 20.
A
You pay
lot
for
of-
5 copies of Titanfall on Xbox One because those are always like in the dollar bin.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, do we want to call it there? It's getting long.
Sure. I don't know. Any last
You didn't even talk about your Last of Us thing.
I'll talk about it
we
next
can do
time.
it next time.
I just
But
want to
like,
end
you've
this.
been
When you
talking-
play more.
I just want to end this with F-Zero will never come back. And it's sad.
You fool. Now the direct's gonna happen tomorrow. and they're
No,
gonna announce
actually,
it.
F-Zero could come back, but there'll never be a good Paper Mario game again. No.
Correct.
There's no. Not unless Shigeru Miyamoto dies, and even then, they probably like honor his word or something, being the father
That
of.
would suck.
in his will, you can't make a fun
Do
Paper
not
Mario game.
put in original characters in a Paper Mario game. That's like number 1 on his will. By the way, also give
His
my
his
kids
will-
my money. Like
His will has like drawings of all the Mario characters and their exact proportions, and be like, do not change these. They have to look like this in every game.
and he gives like
That's
the-
why he hates Paper Mario, because it's the only one that looks any different. Mario and Luigi games had to like push towards like the remakes. The Koopa Troopas had to become bipedal because they have to look like Koopa Troopas and everything else. Fucking stupid. I don't need to keep ranting about this though. So yeah, no more good Paper Mario. Let's end it on that happy note.
Bloodborne will never come to PC.
Aw, now Ryan.
Cut it, cut it, cut it.
Cut it before he screams.